So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. Hey guys, I got a special episode for you today. It wasn't recorded as a podcast. It was recorded as a special webinar I did with Mr. Adam Roach, who is a master at recruiting agents, and he successfully recruits over 100 agents a year. He's one of the top Keller Williams recruiters in the nation, and he's doing amazing things in the state of South Carolina. Amazing things with tons and tons of agents following him and joining him based on his recruiting skills, basically, and what he has to offer them. And it was exciting to put this together, and I thought, what a great time of year to do this. Let's do this now so people can build teams, right? Build brokerages, build as much as they can in 2019. And if you wait around to the end, I'm going to offer a special coupon of 75% off our new Retoot course, which is flying off the shelves. Just lots and lots of people jumping on our Retoot course, Retrain and Recruit. And this falls right within that. So anyways, I had a lot of fun. I think everybody can learn something from this webinar I did with Adam Roach, and hope you enjoy. All right, Adam. So let's get down to business, man. This is exciting. All right, let's talk about it, buddy. How in the hell did you recruit 100 agents in a year? I want to find out nitty gritty exactly what you did and what you recommend to everybody watching this to do.
I tell you what, Pat, it was a wild ride for sure, and bringing in over 100 agents over the last 4 years has been a feat that it's kind of fun because it's you get to box it up, right? You get to box up the systems that are working. You get to box up the applications that you're using, and just it's duplicatable. Do it over and over and over and over and over. Super excited to share today.
All right, let's get to it.
Well, cool. Let me dive in here. So we got the PowerPoint up and running. So this is what I want to do for the next however much time we have is kind of go over the importance of recruiting A players. I found a Steve Jobs quote that I really, really like. Who am I? 6 steps that I kind of have in here for recruiting 100 agents plus a year. Powerful action items, and then a powerful ending by Mr. Carl Brandon. I'll give you my contact information when I'm finished here. So here you go. The mindset around recruiting A talent. So Steve Jobs said this. He said, assume you are by yourself in a startup and you want a partner, right? So here you are, a broker out there, or maybe even a mega agent that you're looking to bring on talent. He says, you take a lot of time finding a partner, right? He would be half of your company. Why should you take any less time finding a third of your company or a fourth of your company or even a fifth of your company when you're in a startup? The first 10 people will determine whether the company succeeds or not. Each is 10% of the company, so why wouldn't you take as much time necessary to find all the A players? If 3 were not so great, why would you want a company where 30% of your people are not so great? A small company depends on great people just as much as a big company does, Steve Jobs. So what I took from that, Pat, was as I'm sitting down and I'm recruiting these 100 plus agents, granted, I'm getting into business with every single one of them. I'm looking for the talented rock stars that I know that can plug into systems and models within, whether it's my brokerage, whether it's your brokerage. You got to know what the value propositions you're going to be giving to these individuals and make sure that they can plug in, because at the end of the day, it's your reputation on the line if you say, come on board to my company, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so here's, who am I? I'm just a farm kid from Indiana. No, at the end of the day, it's I'm a father of 2 amazing kids. I'm an investor in three different Keller Williams franchises. I'm an operating principal of 2 of those franchises. I was a team leader for about 8 years, recruited well over 650 agents. I grew our Charleston office from $380 million in gross sales to well over $1 billion in 4 years. I created a recruiting platform called Recruiting Bridge that is in well over almost, let's see, we've been in almost 96% of all the Keller Williams offices. And year to date, we do about 150,000 leads, recruiting leads into recruiters.
Okay, let me stop you here real quick, Adam. So how many Keller Williams offices are there?
There's roughly about 700 and probably 760, 770.
All right, so you're probably in 600 offices with your recruiting software that you've independently created, and they're using it to recruit agents from other brokerages. So it's important to know that this webinar is being watched by brokerages, all different types of brokerages from all over the world.
Yeah.
Anybody watching this can learn what Adam has done to recruit 650 agents, so that you can recruit to your office the same amount of agents. So let's dig deep in here. This is good stuff.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to clarify some of your numbers. That's all.
Cool, got it. So here we'll dive in real quick. Like I said, I'm a lover of all things travel and meeting fun and exciting people. Here we go. Last year I met the Earl of Burke Castle, which is really cool. You know, Pat, you were at the bottom left and right corners meeting Robert and good old Cameron Harold. And then there's my two fantastic kids. That's my drive right there. Love those little guys. So let's dive into this. 6 steps to recruiting 100+ agents a year. These are all my opinions. Now, Pat, just probably very similar to all the people watching, we learn as we go, right? We take from wherever we can take, and I didn't come up with some of these things. I may have came up with the Recruiting Bridge, but again, the system was in a lot of our heads. All these things you're getting ready to hear, I've learned them. So have a huge, big-ass vision, right? Have a vision that when you find a rock star or rock stars, plural, that they can see themselves fitting into your vision. I find that to be extremely, extremely powerful. So I run the largest real estate office in all of Charleston, and it's the single largest office by roughly probably close to almost 300 agents at this point. That's the next closest one has about 150 agents. We have almost 400 agents. So with that being said, you know, as I'm sitting down with these individuals, I'm painting this picture that this is going to be the largest, continue to be the largest real estate office in all of Charleston. We're going to 1,000 agents in 5 years. And I'll make them stand up and I'll show them all the commercial properties around us and where we're expanding to. And I call it my real estate campus. And they love that. And they want to know how we're going to get there and when can we get there. So you paint that big vision for them and they can see themselves fitting into it. So step number 2, I put define your recruiting pond. Know who you are going hunting for. Know what type of talent you're actually searching for and what value you can bring to them. Again, outside of your vision, what value you can bring to them. So for example, Pat, when you're sitting down or if you're looking at someone that's doing $2.5 million in sales, yeah, they've done a good job. The question is, what's their next level of success, right? So with that being said, you say, okay, fine, I want to help this individual if they want to get to $5 million in sales. You need to know how you're going to get them there. So as my coach always says, Adam, who are you going hunting for? Right? It says right there, where do you hunt for bears? He says, if you're looking for $2.5, $5 million producers, or if you're looking for newbies, you got to know what your pond is, where you're going fishing, and where you're going hunting for that bear, and then go look for them.
And then where's your pond, Adam? Just out of curiosity, where's your pond and how do you access said pond?
Gotcha. Great question. So I have a system called Broker Metrics. Broker Metrics literally gives me it pulls from the MLS, and you can then tap into every single agent that is a part of the MLS, and you can see all of their, number one, their contact information and all their data, and you can also see all their production in closed volume and in closed units. You can see all their listings that they currently have, how many listings they have on the market, how many listings are pending. I can see every single thing through Broker Metrics. And with that, I can then narrow down my pond to my recruiting pond.
Yeah, and by the way, side note, it's actually recruiting forest.
Forest.
Bears don't really swim, fish do. But yeah, so Broker Metrics basically is telling you who's selling. So you could see somebody who didn't who sold 2 houses last year and 10 this year and be like, here's someone on the rise, let me call them. Is that what you mean?
All day long. Or you know what, Pat? Sometimes I do the opposite. I'll look to see if someone, so I've got certain days that I call certain bears, if you will, certain people that I'm looking to recruit, certain talent. One day I'll call the people that have, increases in their business, and the next day I'll call people that have the opposite. Sometimes you look at people that have had opposites, something has happened in their life, and they may have a gap that you can help them close.
And did you point it out to them? Hey, I'm looking at Broker Metrics, and I see that you sold, 27 houses in 2000 and X, and I just noticed that last year you sold half that much. Do you bring that up? Does that hurt their feelings?
All day long. So if we go to the next one, you'll see in here, we're going to talk about scripts here shortly, and I'll role play a script.
Okay, cool.
So this is the next part I think is extremely important, right? Because Pat, you're a driven person. We surround ourselves with driven people, and we sometimes think that we can shoulder all of the growth, if you will, on our own shoulders. And in my opinion, if you want to recruit and you want to bring in well over 100 agents a year, you got to have a good team around yourself. So for example, in my office, I have a team of 8 people around me that are my support staff that, number 1, protect my time. Number 2, help me with an onboarding system. Number 3, they provide value once the agents come in, as in the sense of a productivity coach, and so on and so forth. So I can share the value. Then you have to follow through with that value. And as you're going to recruit 100+ agents, you better have a damn good team around you, Pat.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about how to do that. So let's look at this. A CRM, number 1. Whatever CRM you're using, the advice I would give is use it. Use it. Just use a CRM that you have. If you don't have a CRM, hold on to your shorts because I'm going to show you one called Recruiting Bridge. Number 2 is have a pipeline. The pipeline, in my opinion, is the most underutilized systems because we go out, Pat, and we wing it. We just wing it. We'll meet with somebody. We'll say, oh, my gosh, that person was fantastic. I hope they come in this month. And then you'll forget about them, right? If you don't put them in a pipeline, if you don't know what they're about, then you're going to forget about them. So use a pipeline. I'll share with you more a little bit later about that.
Okay, cool.
Follow up until you read their name in the obituaries, Pat. You don't stop. When do you stop following up? You stop following up with them when they die, right? I've never had anybody have a restraining order against me. Yet at the end of the day, I have followed up and been the most persistent person here locally in Charleston. And that's why we have the majority of the top producing agents on the board, is because, in my opinion, no just means not right now. And, a no also means maybe, right? I also have a mindset, right? I have a mindset that, Pat, if you're coming to meet with me, you're already walking in at a yes, right? You're walking in at a yes, and it's up to me. If you leave and you don't come on board, then I've talked you out of your yes. You're meeting with me for a reason, right?
Wow. I love both of those things. No means not right now. And if you're meeting with me, it's a yes.
Yeah.
Unless I talk you out of it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Which we do all the time, right? I'm sure all of you have heard the acronym WAIT. WAIT stands for why am I talking, right? You do all the questions. Jump into questions and do some discovery, right? Just jump in and ask a bunch of questions. I have a series of, I believe it's 26 questions that I can share with the audience if they would like. After we're finished here,
I love them. Yeah, give them to me. I'll share them.
Yeah. Yep. We'll shoot it out. And it's 26 questions to ask an experienced agent. And I'll share all of those. And I literally just go through it. When I started using that, Pat, I would literally read every single question on the sheet in front of me, and I'd have them answer. And basically what you're doing is you're taking them from A, you're creating a gap because they want to get to B, and you want to know how fast you can close that gap because they might be able to close the gap at their current company. You're going to be able to close that gap faster. Let's talk about a CRM. So in my opinion, the best CRM is the CRM you use, or Recruiting Bridge. So Recruiting Bridge is a system that I created as a recruiter that I could use as a CRM platform where I could manage all of my referrals. Now, referrals, when you're recruiting, in my opinion, are the fastest way for you to get to 100 agents. When someone's expecting your call because someone gave them to you as a referral, it's a higher conversion rate than if you just called Bob Smith off of Broker Metrics or off the MLS because they don't know you from Adam off the street, right? So with inside of Recruiting Bridge, Pat, you have the opportunity. I could ask you as one of my users to send me a referral if you were my agent. So anybody watching this, regardless of Keller Williams or not, if you're using a system such as Recruiting Bridge, and or if you are just using Recruiting Bridge, you can have all your agents on there as users. They all have what are called recruiting landing pages, number one. Number two, they have the opportunity to dive into their Recruiting Bridge and send you leads as the recruiter. Their landing pages are also out there on the internet, and those are sending cold leads. So all day long, you are a lead generating machine from your agents to send you referrals so you can go out there and recruit well over 100 agents a year. So that's Recruiting Bridge. Recruiting Bridge has many facets. Just go to recruitingbridge.com and set up a 60-day free trial. There's no obligation. Just go play with it. It's everything from a CRM to a pipeline to a marketing tool. You can text in there. You can email in there. You name it, we've created it. It's inside there, and you will definitely get to well over 100 agents by having a simple platform as that. There's an app too. Anything else there, Pat?
No, that's awesome. I love basically the everything that you said there, about your attitude and what you do and having the vision and everything.
Yeah.
Very good.
So let's move on. Scripts. This could be my favorite area of the 6 steps to recruit.
Yeah, because this is the main meat and potatoes here. This is what everyone on this watching this webinar can actually use for free right away. Like literally, stop watching it at the end and utilize. So let's dig deep in here.
Gotcha. So let's start with this simple script of a referral. So you have an agent, Pat. Let's say you're one of my agents. And I know that you're going to close 50 transactions this year, Pat. So you're theoretically going to be in front of 50 co-oping agents, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to teach you, I'm going to leverage through you to create warm leads for me. And here's how it goes. Pat, when you're at the closing table, here's what I'd like for you to say. Realtor X, it was a pleasure doing the business, or it was a pleasure doing a deal with you. I really appreciated how you, whatever it was, you followed up with me, you got to the contracts to me quickly, whatever it was, you put in that action item. I was just speaking with my manager or my team leader or my broker, whatever it was, in my office, and he or she said, he wanted to give you a call to say thank you. Will you do me a favor and take his or her call? Period. That's it. That's it. That's step 1. What do you think about that?
That's pretty simple. I mean, of course, your gut is going to say, oh, they're going to be like, oh, that sounds suspicious. But at the end of the day, you really don't care.
No.
Because they are going to say thank you.
Yeah. So here's what I do now, Pat. You want me to do a little role play here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. And I'll be happy to send all these scripts to whomever wants them. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, is this Pat?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Pat. This is Adam Roach calling from Keller Williams Realty. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Adam?
Hey, Pat. I'm doing real well. Pat, I won't take more than about 2.5 minutes of your time here. I saw that you were doing a recent transaction with one of my agents, Steve Jones. He said you guys did a deal on 1234 Main Street, and he said you were a great agent. I just want to call and say thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. He was fun to co-op with. We didn't have any trouble. Had a little underappraisal problem, but, Steve was really good about, taking care of business on it and very professional. I like him a lot.
I'm so glad to hear that, Pat. I really appreciate that feedback. And, let me ask you a quick question, Pat. I do coach Steve, and from time to time, like I said, I'll reach out to the co-oping agents to see how my agents are performing. How else is there any other areas within the transaction that Steve could have done better?
Well, the guy, he he likes to text all the time, and I'm an old school guy. I like voicemail, and it was a little adjustment and getting used to text,
Yeah.
but I dealt with it.
Okay, good. Well, I appreciate that feedback. And Pat, before I gave you a call, I did pull up some of your production. It looks like you had quite the banner year last year. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I'm not sure if your broker shared this with you, but I love tracking numbers because I find that numbers are the language of business, and I'm sure you can agree. And it looked like your closed production was up 35% last year. Did you know that?
I did. I mean, I knew it was a good year because I had a tax bill that I didn't expect. But I didn't analyze numbers. No, I just knew I was up.
Gotcha. Well, here's the cool part about that, Pat, is I'm not sure, again, if you knew these numbers, but the board's only up 10%. And with you up 35%, that means you outperformed the board by 25%, which means you actually gained market share last year. Were you aware of that?
Oh, that's kind of cool. No, I didn't. I never looked at it like that.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. Well, I enjoy speaking with like-minded people, Pat. With you being up 35%, I got to tell you, my office was up 65% last year in closed production. With us, the board only being up 10%, we're outproducing the board by 55%. And we're actually outproducing you by 20%, Pat. How do you feel about that?
It's fascinating. I mean, I don't pay attention to numbers like that, but I do like hearing them. You know what I mean? I mean, that's great. What are you guys doing to do that?
That's a great question. Well, as a thank you, Pat, I'd love to get together with you and share with you what your business would kind of look like if you're up 20%. I've got 3 o'clock tomorrow. I've got a 4 o'clock on Friday. Which works best for you?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Well, you said you didn't track your numbers, right, Pat?
Right.
Gotcha. So I'm going to show you how you can track your numbers and think about it. What would your business look like if you were up 20%, like, we're outperforming you by 20%?
Well, I'd have a much bigger tax bill, and I'd probably be happier. My wife would be happier because I'd finally be able to put on that screened-in porch she keeps bugging me about.
There you go. Well, let's talk about how to put that screened-in porch here sooner than later. So, again, 3 o'clock tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Friday. Which works best for you, Pat?
And what Adam, what are we going to do? Like we're just going to sit down and you're going to take my numbers that you're tracking and add 20% on the top?
No. You know what? That's a great question. I'm going to show you when we meet, Pat. So, again, it'll only be about 30 minutes, and I'm sure 30 minutes of your time would be worth that new screen in the back porch, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Okay, gotcha. So, again, we can do the Starbucks on Bell Hall, or we can meet here in the office. Which works best for you at 3 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah, the Starbucks. I don't want to come to the office, and sit down and maybe some other agents from my brokerage think that I'm like, leaving or something like that. It just seems suspicious, you know what I mean? I know we're just chatting, but still, Starbucks maybe would be better.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Okay, so let's do Starbucks tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And I know you're a professional, Pat, so I won't necessarily need to call and confirm. So I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Starbucks, right?
Okay.
Perfect. See you then.
See you. So, okay, so what did you do? What did you just do? Like, what was running through your mind, and what do I need to know to analyze that?
Gotcha. So I just created a gap, right? I created a gap, and I heard what it is you're looking to have, right? The screened-in back porch, a happier wife, making more money. You increase your tax bill, but that's okay. When we have to pay more tax, that means we make more money, right? And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to follow through with what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to show you the difference between where you are and where we are and what we did a little bit different. I might give you a little bit of value and invite you to a training class now. That's it. And I'm going to stay on time, 30 minutes, and that's all you got.
So, okay. And what do you like? What are you what are you using to go over the numbers and that sort of thing? Or are you just kind of printing out broker metrics and adding 20%?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out Broker Metrics, and Broker Metrics has an incredible tool that shows you your production, and it's going to see if your business is up, it's flat, it's down. Yours is going to be up because you're up 35%. And then I'm going to ask you just some fun questions. Pat, tell me about how you grew your business. Well, I grew it through my referrals. Well, fantastic. How big's your database? Well, my database is about 200 people. Fantastic. How frequently are you touching your database? I don't know, maybe once a month. So 12 times. Yeah. Pat, if you touch your database, well, let's just say 30 times, what would that look like? Well, I don't know. So I'm going to find some gaps there, and I'm just going to keep asking you questions. And I'll say, well, let me show you what some of our top agents are currently doing, right? And I'll show them what they're currently doing. And then I'll go in for a second close of a second appointment. So, Pat, I told you I wanted to keep you here for just 30 minutes. I've got a great training class coming up. You said that marketing isn't one of your strong suits. This is how some of the top agents in the industry in Charleston are starting to really gain some traction on how to use marketing at a high level. You touch your database 12 times in a year, and it's yielding you, well, about $5 million in sales. Imagine if you touch your database 30 times or 40 times. There's even a guy that's going to be at this class path that does it 74 times, and he's closing over 400 homes a year. Would that be of interest to you? Well, sure.
Yeah, crazy.
So then you come to that, and then I set up the second appointment after that. We go through the needs analysis of the 26 questions I was referring to earlier, and then you'll see the gap just starts getting wider and wider and wider. No one's doing this with them at his current brokerage. No one. No one's diving into him as a business owner or into his business. And then what I'll do is I'll just share some tools that'll help him close that gap faster of where he is to where he wants to be on that screened-in back porch, and then I just go for the close.
That's crazy. So dive a little deeper, if you could, Adam, real quick, into finding the gap. Can you dive, spell that out like a third grader can understand, and what can I do if I'm watching this and I want to, at the end of this, I want to just sit down with an appointment because they're on their way into the office and find the gap. Teach me how to do that.
Gotcha. So it's all question-based, Pat. So Pat, tell me where you are in your business right now. Closed volume looks like you're doing about 10 million. That's right. Right?
Yep.
Gotcha. So it's 2018. We're in January. What was your goal for 2018?
12 million.
12 million. So you're going to increase your business by $2 million. Is that right?
Yes.
Perfect. So it's about 60,000 in GCI at 3%, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. So Pat, let me ask you a question. Around that 60,000, what's important to you about that 60,000?
What's important is bills. I mean, quite frankly, I need that.
Yeah. So you need that additional 60,000 to pay your bills. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is that you pay your bills with that additional 60,000? 10 being it's uber important, 1 being take it or leave it.
10.
10. Gotcha. So failure is not an option.
No.
Gotcha. Pat, I know it's early in January. Do you feel that you're already on track or no? To increase by $2 million.
No. Yeah. No, I haven't done anything yet. No.
Does that concern you?
Yeah. I guess so. I guess I need to step up.
Yeah. So Pat, just out of curiosity, what's going to change? I mean, you did 10 million last year. You want to increase by $60,000 in GCI this year. You're not on track, and yet you said it's a 10. So what's going to change?
Well, I was hoping just because I needed it so bad. You know what I mean? Like I'm behind on my taxes, and do you usually find the gap, Adam? To be a negative or a positive? You usually find people like that are like, oh, I'm overspending, or do you usually find people that are saying, hey, oh, I want the screened-in porch?
Well, you know what? It's a great question. I think at the end of the day, it's kind of 50-50, because very rarely will I get someone. I would say very rarely. I can do diving pretty deep in some questions that they'll get really personal with me. A lot of them are relatively surface because they want the new car, or they want a bigger house, or pay for college. But again, you can still bring that back to a negative future that, Pat, if you didn't get your screen porch, how would you feel? Or if you didn't pay your taxes, you'd get a new wardrobe. How would that make you feel?
Terrible.
Yeah. So you can see, Pat, so I would agree, and you probably would too, that something's probably got to change in your business, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about what needs to change. So that gap that you're creating there, you're going to put some, a positive present, a negative present, a negative future into a positive future. And that's the little path that you take them through. As you create that gap, it's just all question. Don't get in discovery mode. Don't get into solution mode. Stay in discovery mode. It's question and question and question.
Okay. All right, that's great. And basically the 26 questions that we're going to provide are just allowing you to find gaps, which I love that. I love that. I mean, we could talk about that all day. So let's jump into number 6, provide value, develop your people.
Yeah. So Pat, I brought you on now. I got to get you your screen porch, right? I can't just say, here's the bright, shiny object. Come to my office and let's just see what happens. I've got to follow through now. So I've got to take documented notes. I've got to put it in the recruiting bridge that, your value add is a screen porch, and I've got to know that. So as you're bringing in 100 people, you got to have that team around you to be able to create systems to know what everyone's goals are. And the more you know their goals and the more you're able to help them get there, guess what happens? Number 1, you retain more. And number 2, you create raving fans.
Right. So how do you do that, right? I mean, like, easy to say that.
Yep. What
do you do specifically?
So I hold accountability sessions. So I consult the top 20% in production, and then I also hold massive masterminds.
Yeah, because otherwise they're going to be like, oh, Adam promised this, and Adam said, I was going to go from 10 to 12.
Yep.
And he couldn't get me there.
Yep. So I'm gonna hold massive masterminds. We're gonna talk accountability. We're gonna put some real exposure on your goals. We're gonna put that publicly. I'm gonna teach you how to do certain things around tracking your numbers. And we're going to, again, keep all of this out in the open so that people can see it and you can't hide from it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I love it. I love that. Right? I love that. And then you're ensuring that you're not a false prophet, that you're not meeting with all these people saying, hey, I'm going to get you there. Hey, we're growing. And then the next thing you know, they're the only agent that doesn't grow.
Right. Exactly. Now it's going to happen though, Pat. You're going to have some that want to come in and they want to get it done, and then they just don't follow through.
Yeah,
right? Life is going to happen. So I would bank on, in your office, pay attention to your numbers as it relates to your total agents, because the national average is about a 30% attrition rate. So if you have 400 agents, Pat, you're going to lose 120 of them in a year.
No kidding.
Yep. So bank on that, everybody. Pay attention to your numbers.
Pay attention just means you need to recruit more.
That's right. And that's why grossing it up is so important.
Right, so, absolutely.
Okay, and then lastly here is, you personally don't stop learning. People have come before you, so you keep going out there and finding better ways to better yourself, be able to give back more, and keep sharing the value. Be the value add. Be a legitimate, authentic value add to people, to yourself. And trust me, 100 will come relatively easy every single year.
Yeah, I remember hearing one guy recently said, don't think about making $1 million. Think about giving $1 million in value for free to people.
Yeah, that's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Adam, real quick, what's your opinion on instructors? There's some controversy now on, some of these old school instructors that teach classes versus agents that actually teach classes that are in the trenches learning day to day. What's your opinion on agents teaching classes versus maybe ex-agents and people that are real estate instructors teaching classes?
Sure. I'm all about in the trenches teaching classes. Now, not to mention, you get an old dog that can come in and share some of his or her value from experiences. Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm also in with the school of thought that they're in the trenches, they are learning and failing their way forward. And I also believe that if you are teaching a class, Pat, you're learning it faster. So I've actually had some accountability with some of my agents that, you always want to focus on lead generation, right? Lead generation is the must, whether that's active or passive forms of lead generation. So what I'll do is if I have an agent that I'm holding accountable, and whatever space they need held accountable to, and they don't hit it, I'll help them, if you will, go teach a class on lead generation, right? Wow. So that's what they have to do, and they don't like it at first, and then they find out that after they've taught the class, man, they have to practice what they preach, and that's kind of the mindset, and so they go out and do it bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Best way to learn is to teach.
Yeah.
Best way to retain is to teach.
Yep. So we'll finish up here, Pat. I know we're on a time schedule here. Is action items. Go define your big-ass vision, right? Go out there and figure it out what you want to do. Mine was to be the most attractive and vibrant real estate office in all of Charleston. And we went from 100 to now well over 400 agents, and we're crushing it. Know where to fish or know where to go hunt for your bears. I put here, go effing fish and don't stop until you catch 100 fish, right? Set your goal big. I don't care if you have 20 people in your office. Get to 100 as fast as possible and go out there and fish. Keep going. Inspect your team. Have your systems down in your team and know what each individual is going to be doing as it relates and pertains to bringing on 100 agents. Go to recruitingbridge.com and register for your 60-day free trial. Call me, email me, text me if you have questions around how to use it. It's very intuitive, very simple. It's like an Apple product. You just open the box and you play with it, and away it goes. And be authentic. Coach them up and you get coached up at the same time. Those are the action items that I have for everybody, Pat.
That is awesome, buddy. That is awesome. Thank you, Adam. I really appreciate it so much.
Here you go.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Man, that was fun. Listen, here's the secret code that I want to give you. It's RT75. The letter R, the letter T, 75. That will give you 75% off the course. Selling it for peanuts of what people have actually paid for it already. This course is dynamo. I mean, this has got 3 of the world's best recruiters on there giving secrets on how to recruit and retain agents of all types. So hope you enjoy. Hope to see your 5-star review on rebusuniversity.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hyben. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.